What's up, everybody? Today I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. Today, as you can see, there's just gonna be like images up here of Resident Evil 5 and 6 because we're gonna be talking about both the games and then possibly getting a remake in the future. And why I want to talk about these games is because Capcom has been putting out brand new, not brand new, but remakes of Resident Evil games here lately. We've had 2 and 3 remake, and now we're getting Resident Evil 4 remake. Now, I'm sure this is becoming more and more of a question. Will they do 5 and 6 next? And I want to say is that there is a huge chance they might do 5. I don't know about 6. They I'll put up here on the screen about like some of the cons and issues with the game, and even some comments they've said about the problems with Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 5 overall didn't really have any problems. I was trying to look for problems that Capcom had with Resident Evil 5. There was really nothing there to be found, except that maybe people didn't like the partner thing that they added. Some if you weren't used to it, and you were more used to that like lone wolf type of situation that the other Resident Evil games were in, I guess it would have been an issue for you. But I mean, overall, the AI in Resident Evil 5 was great. The bad guys, the monsters, the zombies, all of it was great. Um, Chris Redfield punching a boulder, all of that, it was great. There was very little issues. I couldn't really find anything wrong with Resident Evil 5. I know maybe some people might have had the problem with the infinite ammo with upgrade that the upgradable weapons got, and it was just like small stuff, but I couldn't really find anything people hated about Resident Evil 5. There was nothing there to say that the game sucked or that it needed some type of rework. Um, Maybe the split screen might have been an issue for some people. They did the split screen when I did some research about both of the games. The split screen was different from your usual split screen. It usually be like rectangle, and it could be side to side or up and down. They did a little bit different, and I could see people maybe having an issue with that. But again, overall, no one. I don't know how many people were like doing 2-player runs of this. I think it was just mostly people doing solo runs. Um, so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they would do a Resident Evil 5 remake, but at the same time, I mean, it doesn't really need one. It's good. The version we got right now is good on its own. Now, Resident Evil 6 kind of had like a stack of issues when I was looking up, and especially when it went into the different stories. When it went into like the Leon, Chris, Jake, and Ada, it had many issues that some people didn't like about it. Um, One of the issues that I saw when I was looking up the issue about the Resident Evil 6 story campaigns uh, was like camera angles for some of them. I guess some people had issues with some of the camera angles in it. Some just didn't. I don't know. Uh, One guy from GameSpot, um, he goes on to like it's just very long detail, but I'm kind of just gonna cut it up into pieces and show y'all. But like right here, one thing which is a problem throughout all campaigns is the camera. Um, when it's not swinging madly about during a crowded battle and melee takedowns, it's sometimes right behind your head when you're leaning out from the cover so that you can't even see your aiming reticle slash laser sight. So again, a lot of, like, camera angles in the campaign seemed like it was some issues there with Resident Evil 6. And then it goes into the stories, the different campaign stories. It goes into Leon. Um, there wasn't really much issues with Leon's campaign. Um, I didn't really see a lot where they were talking about like if there was some issues, like maybe right here this was an issue, or a problem. What would have been useful would have been a option to switch skill sets on the fly without having to go into your menu. Um, it also keeps things challenging rather than ending up with infinite ammo, and this is where the infinite ammo thing comes back, which happened in Resident Evil 5, which I guess for some people it was boring at the end. Um, the aiming AI, now I think the aiming AI in Resident Evil 6 was a consistent issue. Um, I never played neither games, but when I watch Resident Evil 6 AI enemies to compared to Resident Evil 5 enemies, the Resident Evil 6 AI enemies were barely doing anything. They were very slow, or just stood there or did nothing, or they would just run away. And so it just like it felt like the game wasn't rushed or anything, but like what's going on? Why are they programmed like this? Why were they running like this? It's like some huge issues. Um, then we get into the Chris story. Um, again, I don't think the campaigns were um, really huge issues. I don't think all the campaigns had big issues. I think maybe they were small issues. But the guy goes on to say right here, pacing wise, Chris' campaign is the second worst. It's like you're doing a really hard workout but only losing weight in random bursts. I think it's a good analogy for the work you put in. The payoffs are far and few. Um, I mean, you are a military soldier, so I mean, you have to put in a lot. You're putting in a lot of work. You're just not, you know, you're not Leon or anything like that. I mean, you're a soldier, so I mean, it's gonna be difficult. It's not gonna be like a kiss on the face or anything easy. Then we go into like the Jake story. Um, I guess a lot of people were comparing the big guy in the Jake story to Nemesis. Um, I mean, this guy says that there aren't really any comparisons to Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, but I say that the guys are, both of them are sort of the same, just not completely. Um, Nemesis chases you around the city, and he's trying to kill and come after you. Um, this guy is sort of doing the same thing. It's not exactly like, but he is chasing after you. He does want to, get you. So I mean, the similarities are there. So I think, Jake's story to me overall was one of my favorites just because of the big guy. Now, of course, Chris and Leon did have like big giant monsters to deal with in their stories, but it just felt way better to chase the fear factor to it. It just felt a whole lot better. Um, they also say I could best describe this campaign as half baked because it has hints of good ideas, but those fail more than they work. And the drama of Unistink and traveling between locations is often bridged by the stop and start QT sequence, and that it will start to blah 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 and stop you feeling like getting you half any get dude, like this. Whenever I'm reading like a sentence, I just like start to mess up because I read too fast. But and stop you feeling like getting you have any control. So I mean, I guess you could say the story was half baked. I felt like it was fun. Another part right here is it's also the one campaign which I think a bad co-op partner will make worse. These shortcomings made this campaign the most disappointing because I was looking forward to it a lot. I guess overall this is like the worst campaign compared to Chris. I thought it was fun watching people run it and getting scared of the big guy chasing them and all of that. In his conclusion, it's not overall a broken game, but it does like have a lot of issues. Uh, I think overall 6 right now would be more deserving of a remake more than Resident Evil 5. I would also like them to, you know, I hope at some point they will stop making remakes because at some point they're going to just have to stop making remakes for Resident Evil, for old Resident Evil games. But I could see maybe 10, 15 years down the line, they're going to think about probably doing Resident Evil 7 Biohazard and maybe even Village at some point. But for right now, I'm sure that's not even like a question. But I would love to see them do either a remake or maybe make another story about this. Make it a remake about Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. I would love to see like a remake or something from this. Watch a whole bunch of gameplay of it. Fun story, cool monsters. You even got the big guy. I think he's supposed to be like Mr. X, or he is Mr. X. I could be wrong. But yeah, this would be another game I would love to see them bring back. I know a lot of people enjoyed it, and they could fix problems that were in it, and just kind of like make another like sort of like side story, characters, other stuff like that. But yeah, thank you for your time, and thank you for if you are watching this video, and if you liked it, hit that like button. If you want to leave a comment, just leave a comment and tell me what you enjoyed about the video. And tell me if you think both the games are deserving. And I will see y'all later.